Hello.
Hi,
Welcome
yay.
to Oink Time Pod. I'm Jen Carnivale.
I'm Benjamin Alexander Herman Elwood.
And today we chatted with Alex Jae about all things crime and a little bit of LA. If you like the pod, can you tell everyone and give it 5 stars?
10 stars.
5 stars times
2 times 10 fives.
And thank you, Young Henry's Brewery, our wonderful sponsors. Go drink their delicious beer. All right, Ben, what else? If you'd like to contact us, please tweet at us at OinkTimePod. And our guest, Alex Jae.
We did say that, didn't we?
Didn't I say that? We're talking to comedian Alex Jae about crime. I swear I said that bit already.
That's all good.
And now, shush. And now, Alex Jae and crime.
Crime.
Get on planes.
Yeah.
They are anxiety. I mean, not all animals, but cats and dogs are. Like, that's just known. Any cat and dog is
Especially
an
dogs.
anxiety relief animal.
What's the process? You just get like a doctor's certificate.
Yeah, I think you just
and
go
then
to a shrink and go, I'm fucking crazy.
I'm crazy
and this dog's
and I
the
need
only
a
thing
pet.
that helps me. But it's
Great.
fucking true, man.
Sweet.
All right.
Well, apparently in America it's gone to like whole new levels where people have like, anxiety llamas.
Goannas
and,
and
yeah,
stuff,
and they try and take like a llama on a plane and stuff. At that point
Yeah.
it's like, dude, you're really taking the fucking piss.
That's silly.
But a little
Can't
staffy.
cuddle a goanna. A staffy, yeah, I
Little
guess.
beautiful little staff. I'm naturally, I don't know, if I'm like, I could be having the worst day of my life and for that, 30 seconds that I'm kind of canoodling with some street cat, like all of that does, well, I actually,
Riff raff.
yeah,
Sounded so...
I don't
buy
buy that. So good. Have you seen the fucking remake?
No, I'm very excited though.
Are you?
Yeah. No.
I don't know, man.
I'm happy to just
Don't you feel like it's weird how they're getting all our fucking childhood dreams and just putting them through this uncanny valley filter and it's
in
kind of
this
yucky?
112 months
Yeah,
period.
yeah. Lion King, Aladdin.
Lion King, Aladdin.
What do they remake? I have no
Well, you
idea.
didn't have a childhood, so you wouldn't know
No.
about it. Aladdin
I
is
was
a film
working
made
from
by the
full-
Disney
No.
Corporation.
Aladdin!
Yeah, it was released in
loved Aladdin.
1992 back when we
they
still
are
had hope
redoing
and dreams.
it. It looks horrible. The redo.
And they're doing Lion King and Dumbo. That's like the 3 big
Yeah, see, Lion
animations this year.
King, I think they're just going to redo it and make it like no one dies and everyone's happy.
I don't know. It's like, who wants to see a photorealistic warthog fucking singing? It's kind of
Yeah.
like gross, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not as cute. Or
The Lion
adorable.
King was heartbreaking and amazing at the same time.
Did that fuck you up when you were a kid?
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Of course it fucked me up. The
Disney movies
stampede.
fuck you up as a
The
kid.
stampede really fucked me up.
Do
Yeah.
you have something like earlier? Do either of you have something earlier than that, like real young?
Yeah.
Like a memory that, like, of something that just really fucking penetrated and it stuck with you into adulthood?
I remember a dream I had when I was like, I think 5
Yeah,
that
what was
still
that?
sticks out to me. Like it's so stupid, but like my mum's friend, like everything was black and white checks. And my mum's friend had these big like triangle boobies and was really scary and weird.
Wow.
And that image is like crystal clear in my head still.
Scary
yeah.
tits
Almost
coming
30
at
years
you.
later. Yeah, it was
Madonna
weird.
boobs.
Yeah, it was, but like in this like tiled, it was weird.
Wow.
Yeah, like when you're a kid, you have all these abstract, like, I remember when
It
I
was
was
super abstract.
I was like maybe 5 or 6, and it was the first time, or maybe whatever, it's the first time I remember being consciously aware of my own heartbeat in my ear, like that, and it freaked me out so much. And I started having this like vision of like men made of red delicious apples
Ew.
marching in formation, and the sound of my heartbeat
was
was the sound of their like,
Wow.
and it's like, and at the time, I mean, who knows? Because you filter every memory through, your whole life. So I probably
million
didn't
different-
react the way I think I reacted. But I remember thinking that was a very rational image. And it's only when you're an adult, you're like, men made of red delicious apples. Like
Yeah.
that's so fucking abstract. And like only
Yeah,
some weird kid or
As a
surrealist
kid,
could come
yeah.
out of with that concept.
I was talking about this with my partner because we were hanging out with my nephew and he's obsessed with Chris. And he was saying how bizarre it is when children play because he was like, we've got cars, we're trucks. And Chris was like, okay, we're trucks. And then all of a sudden one of them broke. He's like, okay, now all the trucks eat each other. And he's just like, okay.
Yeah.
And then Chris was like, now they fly. And he's like, no, trucks can't fly. And it's like, yeah, of course, they can't fly, but they eat each other. Like it's just this bizarre world.
I didn't get the brief. I'm sorry.
He was like, my bad. I'm sorry, man. I thought they could fly.
Well, there's some clinical
It's just so
pediatrician that was
strange.
talking about the way kids' brains works. It's like for the first like 5 or 6 years, it's all about it's almost like impro. Like it's like, something gets put
It's all
into
play.
Yeah, some idea comes in and then it's,
Yeah.
like you were saying, the trucks are eating the cars and da 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 da.
Yeah.
And then they hit like 7 and all of a sudden everything's like, no. Like
Right.
mice eat cheese and they don't, go to the
Rationality
moon and
comes in.
yeah,
Yeah.
and everything becomes much more structured and rule based.
That's
But
interesting.
they
Yeah.
look for it earlier. One of my earliest memories is with my little brother at that age, which my nephew is now, where I think it's like between 2 and 3, where they start figuring out they can ask you why. And I remember putting stuff away, like the groceries away. I don't know how old I was, maybe 7 or something. And my little brother going, "What's that? Lettuce. Why?" And what's that? Apples.
It's a deeply existential
Why?
question.
Yeah, and they're
Why?
like,
Why
and
is lettuce?
My nephew has started doing that now. What's that? A table. Why? And you're like, well,
You can, but you
can talk
can
about
get
it to
into
them,
it.
but
Like,
it's just interesting because it's so obvious to see their processes, and then you become adults and you don't know what anyone's thinking ever. And kids are
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
I just want to know why.
Yeah.
but
Like
I-
they
but-
don't. There's not much beyond that.
But I think you can almost have more interesting conversations with kids than you can with adults because of that.
yeah, of
because there
course.
isn't these like concretized ideas of what things are.
Yeah,
and
they're completely open.
yeah. And it's like pure kind of receptivity to like nothing's weird to them. This is why I always like, when fucking weird right-wing people like, how am I going to explain homosexuality to my
Right.
kids really easily? Like it's
Yeah.
I
not.
have a tougher time explaining lettuce.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah. You got to get into fucking like.
Yeah, you're like, bisexuality is this. And they're like, but what is a tree? And you're like, fuck!
I don't know how to explain photosynthesis to you. Gayness is so much easier, but it's true. Like
That
they
is-
have no. They have
It's the
no.
perfect time to explain homosexuality to a human.
Because it's just like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like they don't,
What a
Kids don't really
Dumb
care.
thing.
but they've got such an amazing capacity to like receive a complicated answer to a question.
Well, because that's all they've done. Like, all they've done, they say now the most learning is from 0 to 4 or something, but it used to be 0 to 2, where you learn more from 0 to 2 than you do for the rest of your life. Like, you take in more. So their brain is just in this state of taking in information and processing it.
Yeah, man.
Whereas, like, I don't know how much I'm taking in. Like, I'll read a whole book and adore every page and be so excited and
yeah.
retell every page to someone who is also fixated on the topic. And then by the end, you're like, what's it about? And I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
well, it's kind of about people who are working in China. And then it's like, that's it. It's fucking
it.
It's
gone,
done.
you
Yeah.
know? So they're
don't-
like, their brain is doing different things.
but don't you find that like because I'm experiencing the same thing, and I started reading for again, maybe a couple of years ago for the first time in 10 years.
Jealous. Yeah, I need to.
You gotta do it,
I've got a
man.
book next to my bed,
What is
ready
it?
to
What
go
book?
when I'm. Oh God.
I don't judge. I love
remember.
trashy books as well. I love trashy. I love it all.
It's like it's third in a series, and I started this series like 7 years ago. And I'm halfway through
fucking
the
finish
first
it.
one.
What a
Yeah.
decade.
Twilight.
No, Jeffrey Archer. It's like one my mum was like recommended. It's a mum
cool.
author. Kind of
Very
thing.
nice.
Yeah, it's like literally got dust in the pages. I haven't opened it in years. But
Yeah.
it's
You
there.
You got to
ready go.
relearn. It's like you got to relearn how to read.
Yeah.
Like I used to read so much, and
Me
then
too. I miss it.
yeah. But
I
well,
read a lot.
screen
It's
culture
just
and
that
everything.
cliche thing of I just scroll Twitter when I'm ready to fall asleep.
Dude,
instead.
I fucking just moved into a new apartment and I've got no internet like whatsoever in the house.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like the fucking best. And I read 150 pages of a book the other night, and it was the first time in my adult life where I was just like, I'm reading, and there's literally nothing else to do. Like I don't have a phone to distract me,
Yeah.
or because just knowing the distractions there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because people can be like, oh, get more discipline. It's like, yeah, you can, but you've
No,
still
but
got
you
this
don't.
brain that's like, wah,
Yeah.
wah, 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 wah. Like maybe there is something there. Maybe there is,
Yeah.
on Netflix. I wonder what's on new on Netflix right now.
Totally.
And it's,
I realized ages ago that I would only go onto like Facebook and Twitter and stuff at night when I was exhausted.
yeah.
And I was like, I don't know how good this is. Like that this is the thing I'm going to because I can't focus on anything. So I'm trying to take this in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's just more because it's more mindless. You
It's
just
totally
scroll and you
mindless.
just
And
don't
it's
have
like,
to
but then
focus.
it's like it's mindless for like 30 minutes.
yeah,
Yeah,
It's a long time.
that's true.
And then I figured out that I was like, I might, because I love reading. So I still do read a lot. But I was like, I might just start reading before I go to bed again, even though I'm tired and I probably won't take it in. I sleep so
Yes,
much better.
I remember that.
So much better. The way, and there's all these studies too, like the way in which you fall asleep from a book versus, a phone.
Yeah,
is
yeah,
like
yeah.
amazing.
Well, it's a less provocative, like triggering. I fucking hate that word. Headspace to be in. You know.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I think the real fucking.
Well, you're engaging a different part of the brain.
Yeah. But also the awfulness of the phone is that, you know, like I would go for it first thing in the morning, you know, what happened last night. And it's like, and I so many mornings as it was loading, I was like, this might not be the best idea. Like you're not even awake yet and God knows what the fuck is going to show up. It could be a fucking massacre. It could be a nuclear bomb went off. Like Trump did something fucked, started World War III. And it's like, maybe you're not in the best place to process or receive some really fucked bit of information, but you're doing it anyway because
It's just habit.
it's just there.
Yeah.
And I was saying to Jen today, like, I've only been in this place for 3 days, and it's been the best 3 waking ups
Of his life.
Like since I was honestly since I was a kid, because you just wake up and you're like, oh, there's nothing to lunge for to distract.
It is.
And
I lunge for it.
Yeah,
and
lunge for
if
it,
it's
man.
not on my bedside table and I've like somehow left it in my bed, I'm like scrambling for it. It's ridiculous.
And especially when you're doing like stand up or something like that, where it's just like, oh, wait, does everyone love me?
Yeah.
And
I hate that.
It's awful.
same.
It's awful. And like, you know, I've got this massive window and the sun rises in it. And it was just like, I just lay there for like an hour today, just like dozing and looking at the sun coming up.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was like really, I think this is the way it's got to be now.
My
No
ritual is
internet.
like, I'm like an 80-year-old woman. So Chris will just be like, do you want tea? And I'll be like, I want tea. And that's like how I wake up is I'm like,
very nice.
get a
That's
shot of
lovely.
caffeine and it brings me back to life.
Because you don't do the phone lunge, do you?
Nah. I did for a long time and it made me unhappy, so I stopped.
Yeah.
Also, I have a window that looks out to planes from the Sydney airport, but I love planes.
Oh, cool.
So I kind of enjoy that. No, I used to, but what I would do, which is weird, is this is when I get the crazy in me like my father. I used to get pissed off that I would go straight to the apps and go straight to like Facebook or whatever. So I moved where the apps were in my phone.
Yeah,
And then I would open my phone and I'd go to it and realize I wasn't there. And then I'd have a split second to be like, oh, why the fuck? I don't even care.
You have
And that split
taking
second
a
is all it
pause.
would take for me. And then I'd be like, oh yeah. And then I just put it down.
That's good.
It's weird.
that.
It's a strange thing to do, but it worked for me.
Are you locked into this fucking cycle of like this like kind of unhealthy toxic relationship with your phone, like the feedback loop of approval?
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the first thing I look for in the morning is like, what notifications have I gotten?
Yeah.
And then I'll read everyone else's stuff.
Do you remember a time before that? Like where you weren't doing that?
No, and I was trying to think of that the other day, like a time before smartphones, or even like when smartphones first came in, you weren't addicted to it. I don't even think I had a Facebook app on my smartphone when I first got one. But I can't remember a time before
crazy.
it now.
I can. I'm old enough
Can
to.
you?
Yeah. So how old are you?
Me too. I'm 32.
Really?
But I just don't have, it's not in my brain. I've erased that.
It's all
time.
about fucking tell me I'm good, tell me I'm great.
Yeah.
It's real bad,
like my
right?
shit.
Yeah. But like do you think there's like, does it worry you that that's like a zero-sum game in the end? Like it can't really,
Always.
it's not a game that can be won?
Yeah. I'm just very good at like blocking that out though, I think.
Yeah, I think everyone is, right?
It's
But I
really
think
good
we
at
all
it.
are. It's just this.
It's just, I just like go into like, well, this is the way the world is now. So
I think it is though.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like I kind of like, I feel like I'm regressing a little bit or like I'm kind of, you know, being some person that's denying reality and trying to go back to a, you know, better time when I was young and everything was uncomplicated.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't know, man. I don't think that just innovation for the sake of innovation is necessarily a good thing.
No.
Like we're all locked in this thing of like bigger, better area. I was saying to Jen today, like I got a pair of headphones recently. It's like it's so fucking annoying. It was like the old headphones I had were great. They were like a little battery socket in it, plugged into your phone, and you listen to music all day.
Nice.
This one is, you can't get those anymore. They're all Bluetooth. And like
Yeah,
when you
right.
ask the fucking dude at the counter, can I just get one with the plug? He looks at you like you're Fred Flintstone. Like, oh no, it's all fucking Bluetooth now, mate. But anytime you're around 3 people wearing Bluetooth headphones, they cut out in and out.
Oh,
You've
right,
got
of
fucking
course.
radiating waves pulsating into your fucking
Yuck.
brain.
Yeah, and
it's this
everything
thing-
dies straight away.
Yeah, and it's this thing, and it's just more moving parts to fucking
Yeah,
fail. And it's
yeah.
just this thing of like, why does it
charge.
have to be better all the time? Why can't
Yeah.
we got headphones, they're good.
Yeah, let's.
I need Bluetooth headphones. I sound like such an
Do
old
you have
man.
the same anxiety towards it as Ben, or not really?
No, not towards that, no.
Not towards
To Bluetooth headphones?
No, I'm okay with Bluetooth headphones, yeah. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all right with that. But, you know, give it time.
But does the technology freak you out, or is it just like?
I think I've adapted really well to it. I'm not freaked out yet. I don't know.
No, that's good.
I've just slid into it and I like it. Sometimes I'll have little self-reflecty times where I'm like, no, I am constantly anxious. I wonder if this has to do with it.
Well, I'm in a heightened state a lot.
I am always on edge and slightly sweating.
I'm constantly projecting the faces of my parents onto the anonymous hordes of the internet.
But then I just, look somewhere else and get distracted.
Yeah. How's comedy going?
Yeah, good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You've been doing it for a while now, right?
I started like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
For a few months, and then here in Sydney, and then I moved
At the old Laugh Garage, right?
The old Laugh Garage.
That's where I first met you, at the fucking
Yeah,
Laugh
yeah.
Garage.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, maybe we shouldn't say his name, but a very cocaine addicted Englishman was co-running the place, and I think he drove it into the ground through his
That happens a
predilections.
bunch with comedy
That
rooms.
was after, I moved overseas. Like, I only did it for, I think 3 months.
Were you ever there those nights that he'd get coked out of his head and storm on stage and start singing Bohemian Rhapsody?
No, I never got the bow rap.
He was straight up
Never
and
got
at
the
it.
bow rap.
It was rough shit, man.
Got some close talking though.
Oh, really?
Definitely.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
hands on the lower back.
Oh,
all that fun
yeah,
stuff.
me too.
All that nice
Some
stuff.
hand
And as
stuff.
I was like 25. I'm like, I guess this is just how it is.
This is how it is. Well, I mean, that's how it was for
This is the
fucking.
only place to get spots. Let's do it.
I know. Can you
Let's put
imagine
up with it.
some of the shit that went down back then, just nowadays?
Even just
like some
that
of the
few years ago, yeah.
Yeah, not even that long ago. Some
Yeah.
of the grotty stuff. Anyway,
Yeah. Well,
it's so disgusting.
Dude, you guys at the fucking. I want to say what the comedy room was, but there was this room where there was this dude in the audience, and he kept getting up and down and touching women's thighs and lower
I
backs.
know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh.
Have you heard about this?
No.
This was fucking crazy, and I was like, it was an amazing kind of.
Who's just a punter?
Yeah, and he was pretty wasted, but a cool person that's wasted doesn't suddenly start fucking getting up and down and grabbing people's thighs.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
obviously a
It goes
filthy
across
creep.
both. Yeah.
It's weird spectrums.
So he's getting up and down and going through the audience, and it became there was this weird tension in the room. And I'm saying this to say how far things have kind of
Yeah.
come.
Oh, the moment that would happen now.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's touching people, and our friend Iman was emceeing, and every time this guy would go into the bathroom, Iman's saying to the crowd, "What the fuck is this guy? What the fuck is happening?"
Yeah.
And then when he came back, he did it again, and as it was fucking mob mentality, but the good version of it.
Oh, good.
Everyone was just fuck you, get the fuck out of here. And
yay.
the whole crowd mutinied, and I can't remember what comic was on stage, because it wasn't Iman, it was someone doing their spot.
Wow,
they were
yeah.
on stage just going, get the fuck out of here,
Oh, I
you piece
love
of shit.
it.
Yeah, it was fucking great.
That's cool.
But it was that thing of
That's for back then too, yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, no, when
was
was
it
this?
before?
This is a
It
couple,
was
maybe a year or two ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But it was
that's
that thing
great.
of
But the difference of everyone, getting together and going, get out of here, versus telling people and them being he's going to touch your back. He's pretty gross.
Yeah.
that's what it
Best
was
get
like.
used to it now.
if you want that sweet 5 minutes, you're going to put
Yeah.
these clammy fucking meats on your on your back.
Well, even back then, there was only 2 rooms in Sydney to gig at, so it was a lot.
Where'd you move overseas?
So I moved to LA for a couple of years, not comedy related. I just got a visa after finishing uni.
Yeah, cool.
And just went over there and just worked in catering and hospitality and stuff for a couple of years. Got a boyfriend.
Fucking strange place.
Did you like LA?
I didn't, but I didn't have a good time there.
Yeah.
I was struggling and I was not in a good relationship and stuff. So when I came home, it was I didn't do comedy very much. I did less than 5 gigs the whole time I was there.
A shit relationship, that'll do it.
Yeah.
That'll taint a place.
Yeah. But I've since been back, and I know a lot of I still have friends there, and I've it's completely different in my head now.
Yeah.
So when I moved back, so that was that's 5 years ago now. That's when I properly started stand up, for reals kind of thing.
Fuck. Have you been to LA, Jen?
Yeah, but I didn't like it.
It's
So I've only
not-
been once, and everyone's like, you got to give it another try. And I was like,
What's to
I really
try?
didn't like
Yeah.
it. I just felt like everybody there, and I'm not judging because, fuck, I mean, I do comedy, but it felt like everyone was an out of work actor. Everyone.
Yes, but they are.
And everyone was like, can I tell you my story? And
Yeah.
you're like, I just want a Coke. I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
And it was everything, everyone had so much surgery, and everyone was so intense, and I was just like, I just want to have a cup of tea. Like
Yeah.
it was a bit much for me.
No one's
It is
dismissive
much.
of you because you could be someone. I
Exactly.
found that was
That's true,
nice.
actually.
Like everyone's very
That's a good
polite because hey,
point.
you could be the
Yeah.
fucking son of the
Yeah.
movie producer.
I guess some weird part of me prefers to be dismissed when I'm having a morning coffee. Just
Do not
just
talk to me.
Yeah,
no,
do the
no
French
small
thing.
talk. Thank you.
No small talk.
Oh, the French thing.
French
yes.
it up. What do you want? Coffee. Great. Fucking hate me and then bring me the drink and then we're done. Like, you know,
I sometimes
that's more my vibe.
I sometimes go to Lentil as anything, and you know, it's
For
like
a free meal
well, no, I pay.
with the great unwashed.
Get fucked. I pay. I'm there to supplement. Fuck some other cunt that's not paying. All
I
right?
live near there, and some of the people, like so many times, I
good that it
want to hear
exists,
your
right?
story. It is.
It's
good
not a
that it-
story. I'm just saying sometimes you got to sit across from someone. You're eating your meal and they want to chat, and it's like I don't want to. I just want to eat my
I've never
fucking
been
meal.
inside. Is it like
No, it's
a
like
communal?
yeah.
Super
seating?
communal,
Yeah.
and the vibe is like you contribute money
Yeah.
to pay for your meal, which is lovely. Never happens. So my cousins were here from Melbourne, and I was like, oh, you know, I live near there, so I was like, we'll go for a walk up King Street and we'll get some breakfast. And we're passing Lentil as anything. There's two heroin addicts
Yep.
who are falling asleep into their pancakes and they're making each other laugh because as one would drop their head, the other one would move the pancakes out of the way and then they'd wake up and they'd put it back and then the other one would fall and then their mate would move the pancake. Like they were having a happy morning, but I was just like, yeah, it's just my neighborhood. Like, it's a popular establishment everyone likes to go to.
No, it's great. It's so funny because like that place really tests the limits of your acceptance. Like you know, because it's very inclusive, and you know, it's great. I think it's great that there is a place that you know people can go and eat a cheap meal.
Yeah.
You know,
And the food is very
the
nice.
food is very nice.
Yeah, cool.
But there was one time I was in there and this dude comes in literally with his fat, like lower half of his face covered in chrome paint. And still clutching the plastic bag full of aerosol paint.
Oh my
and just
God.
like sits down. And just the pantomime that goes into pretending that this is a completely normal situation.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. No one's, who am I to judge? And it's
Yeah.
like, you can judge. He's covered in chrome paint. Like, come on, man.
You can have an
there's-
opinion.
Yeah, you know, exactly. You know,
On
your
that.
brain made a judgment call
Yeah.
and it was right.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't want to sit next to that guy. Sorry.
These clinky clink cans.
Yeah. But people would like sit there because, you know, you like right next to everyone. And it's like, there's other seats. You can just get up and move, but no one would move. And like, you know, the stench was terrible. But just that, like, you know, no, I'm a tolerant person. Everything's
That's why
fine.
I'm here. That's why I came to show
People
my
can
tolerance.
see me eating here. The only thing that annoys me about that place is there's a lovely vegan place next door.
I love that place.
Yes, and
Yeah.
people don't, you know, on like a whatever Saturday, Friday night, you see people like lining up for hours to go get a free meal instead of go to the lovely
I don't
places.
think.
Right.
You know what? I've actually judgmentally sat by the box watching, and most people put in a significant amount.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you know,
that's
like
good.
there's a few scummy people
I
that'll,
don't
you know,
know
like,
about that.
you know, they'll walk past and they'll like make the motion of putting
Pretend.
something in, but there's nothing in
Yeah.
there, and you know, maybe they can't afford it.
Yeah, and if they can't afford it, they should still be able to eat an
Yeah,
healthy
exactly.
meal. But
You just got to be more tolerant, mate.
Mm-hmm.
You got to open up your heart.
no more space. It's full.
I'm full up.
I've got no more space.
So why did you wait when you went to LA? Was that to like pursue the arts, or was it just on a
No.
whim?
Just on a whim. Like I had some friends over there, and I was like, I just finished uni, and I didn't know what to do. And then
What did you study at uni?
I did a Bachelor of Criminology,
Oh, cool.
and I ended up with a grad dip in forensic mental health. I was trying for a master's, but then I quit.
Fuck, really?
And I've done nothing with it. Like this is But
What?
it's one
That's
of those
like
things.
why that?
Because like in my early 20s, I just thought I wanted to do something in crime and like criminal psychology
Yeah.
and stuff, but I didn't have the drive to become a psychologist or anything. So it's like I think around that time, this is like 2010 or 2009. I think a criminology degree was quite popular back then. This was like
really?
the big surgence of like CSI shows
Everybody
and all that
wanted
shit.
to-
Yeah, and I was one of them. I was just like I'm fascinated with
Was
crime.
that your dream?
Kind of,
That's
but
fucking
I
sick.
didn't do the things that you
Yeah,
need
yeah.
to do to become like
For that to fall into place.
to be an actual like medical like psychiatrist or anything like that.
That's a fucking.
I
that would be a
just
nutty
loved
life,
fucked
huh?
up stuff. Like I wanted to be like a coroner at one point, but then found out you had to do like a medicine degree and
Whoa.
all that stuff. So I just did degrees and then was like, oh no, I don't know what to do with it now. So
I love that
went
you
abroad.
did that, and then you're like, I'm just going to fuck off to LA, work in catering,
Yeah,
and see what
I
happens.
literally worked at a diner on Hollywood and Highland, Mel's Drive-In.
Oh wow!
Wait, you wanted to do forensic autopsies?
Yeah, just anything to do
Wow.
with crime and fucked. And then I was thinking of being a CEO for a while, like a corrections officer, just anything in that
That'd
kind
be
of.
tough.
Whoa.
I worked at Long Bay at the forensic hospital in the dispensary, so it's like
Really?
dispensing like the medications for the.
Were you not getting like a whole bunch of fucking guff from the dudes?
I didn't have a lot of patient interaction.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, it was a forensic hospital, so that's where people go when they've been found not guilty by reason of mental illness.
Right.
But I was in just like dispensing medications and stuff, so I didn't really have much patient.
That's fucking crazy, dude.
I would be so scared.
Cool.
Wait, like, so, but it can't just be like CSI shows that, like, what, like,
I don't
if
really
you go back, like, what is it? Like, were you
just-
fascinated with that kind of fucked up shit?
Because that
when
is
you
a
were a
long
kid?
time to invest in something.
Yeah.
And it's like
I
a
don't
very
like that.
niche passion.
Actually, no, yeah, I wanted to be a cop for a while, like just anything to do with crime. And then I don't know even how I found out about criminology, but I heard about that and I'm like, yep, I'll study that
Wow, that's
and
fucking
see what
Did
happens.
you like
kind of
studying
thing.
it?
Yeah, it was really interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah. The grad dip was forensic mental health. So, like, basically just mental health disorders to do with criminality, like forensic criminal mental health disorders. That was really cool. Like,
you-
every term was a different
Yeah.
disorder.
That'd be sick.
Are you like, are you into true crime and all that stuff?
Not
Or
as
are you, like,
much as
burnt out now?
Yeah, I think so. Just
yeah.
like just real happy stuff.
You're full.
Yeah, and then
had your
for
fill.
a few years I worked like after moving back. My first job for 3 years was on as a phone operator for emergency services.
Oh, I knew
Fuck,
that.
dude.
That's
Yeah.
right. When
can't
I
say
met
which
you,
one,
that's what you were
but-
doing.
Whoa.
Yeah, so that led into that. I'm just fascinated by all that kind of
What do
stuff.
you, but like, like, because I get it. Like, I've got like a. Well, I think I used to have a passing fascination with it, but the older I get, the more I'm like, oh,
I think it was that. It's just I left it. I started studying when I was like 22, and then did all this other stuff. And now I'm just like, no, I'm good with leaving that part behind and
Yeah,
just going
there's-
for comedy and nicer stuff. I
yeah,
guess.
just like I don't know. Maybe I think as you get older, it's like maybe you get more vulnerable or something, or not
Yeah.
that we're old, but you know, I don't know.
No, you can get more sensitive
the
sometimes.
weight
Yeah.
of violence. Like
Yeah.
my best friend who
bit
I
more eyes open to
Yeah.
things, what it
Yeah.
actually means and shit.
and like I'm getting this. Not that I was ever a gore hound, but it didn't bother me as
Gorehound, that's a cool. Yeah, good friend. Yeah, it's a good term.
Well, you know, there's people that are like,
Yeah.
fucking, no, I love watching all the Saw movies. Oh, really? Come
Watching it
on.
for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that
Case,
like
yeah.
someone getting tortured should be an entertainment.
Yeah.
But, all right.
Yeah.
But you know, when I was in my 20s, I got pretty fascinated with like, have you ever seen The Killing of America?
No.
It's like this dude. It's worth, maybe not now, but back then it was definitely worth a watch. It's like this collection of, it's like the hypothesis that America is fucking, you know,
Okay.
gone insane and they're all killing each other.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you know, footage of people killing themselves and on
Jesus.
live TV and
Oh,
it's full
that's
on.
awful.
It's full on. And there's a bunch of interviews with like Ed Kemper and other serial
Oh, wow.
killers. And you know, so I really relate to that like grim, like what the
What is this
fuck?
about? Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know, and to get insight from the person
Yeah, that's
who's quite
fascinating.
rational when they're talking about it, which is
Yeah.
not what I imagined at all. Like they're very articulate and quite charming, you know.
They're usually charming and charismatic and stuff.
Yeah. But it feels like, I don't know, like that movie definitely, or doco, whatever it is, it definitely leaves you harrowed at the end, which is how you should feel.
Yeah.
But I feel like all of this stuff now, like these fucking, you know, that sexy Ted Bundy movie and stuff. It's
Ooh,
like, what the fuck is happening now?
Yeah, I'm not
And
into that.
the new Manson. Well, I want to see it because it's Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, and I'm hoping he's got a take on it
I hope
that's
it's not. Yeah.
like I don't need to see
Horrifying or-
Sharon Tate's fetus getting cut out to a 70s pop song. Like it's
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
horrific.
Yeah.
I just don't understand this.
Yeah, that's such a tragic
yeah.
story.
The whole like I think it's the difference between like
Well, it's like romanticizing it.
Yeah.
well, but it's beyond romanticizing. It's like it's turning it into this fetishized sexy thing. Like Colbert did a really good breakdown of that Netflix sexy Ted Bundy doco that they released. you know, and he was showing all these like
Yeah,
tweets
it was
that
pretty
were-
bad. Like I didn't watch it, but when they were like
trailer-
Zac Efron, and
Zac
he's like,
Efron is
he's like,
Ted Bundy.
yeah, and he's like, you know, charmingly looking at his wife and like smoldering eyes, and you're like, that guy's a fucking psycho.
Like, I don't know. I would
people's
think this
fucking-
is like a rom-com or something.
Yeah, no,
You're
seriously.
like cute romance.
Yeah.
Like, it's
That guy
like
stove people's fucking
Yeah.
heads in. He was a fucking disgusting
animal,
creature.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like, by all means, I understand the exploration of it and the like, let's, you know, but I don't know. The fact that it's kind of become a branch of entertainment
Oh, it
is
is
very
entertainment.
sick. And you cannot tell me that it's not going to inspire a whole lot of
course
sad
it is.
fucking losers who are like, I want to be famous too.
Yeah.
And they've got the proclivity for it. And hey, why not fucking go?
Not
do
even
it?
just to be famous. I think they'll watch this and be like, oh, I relate to this guy. I also feel charming and normal but want to cut people's heads
Yeah.
off. He's doing it. Here's a way, and they've painted it in like such an enticing and entertaining way.
It's so fucked
that they'll be
up,
like,
man.
you know what, I might actually just go do it.
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
You can't
Oh,
create
Jesus.
No,
psychos.
I agree.
You can't
I know,
create
but
them,
it's
but you can
still
inspire
scary.
them.
Oh,
Like,
dude, how many fucking people is Netflix going to be responsible for killing? Honestly, like that trailer for, and they've done 2 now. There's the doco series and the movie, and it's just like Ted Bundy month on Netflix. Like
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah, that is a bit.
it's fucked,
why
man.
now? I wonder. Oh, sorry, with the Ted Bundy thing. Like,
Why now
Yeah,
is
why
it
has
so-
he become so popular again all of a sudden?
No.
I think someone wrote a book. I don't know. They're all
Yeah.
becoming. They're like, you know, they just made a Jeffrey Dahmer movie.
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
on
true.
and on and on.
Well, True
An
Crime
Iceman
is-
movie
And
just
True
came
Crime's
out.
huge.
True Crime is
is
huge.
bigger
I
than
just think
it's
it's so
ever
sick,
been.
man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like literally, you know, all these awful murders. You know, that awful murders that happened in Melbourne last year and this year and fucking seemingly every month now.
Yeah.
You know, people are rightly just struck and horrified and, you know, disturbed and really, you know, fucked up by it. But
They
if a
still
fucking
do
true
it though. There's that poor young girl who passed away recently, and they were like showing the photo of the guy who did it, and they're like, you know, charming young
Yeah, yeah,
man,
yeah,
and you're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you trying to make me vomit?
Yeah.
It looked like a headshot, the thing they
Yeah,
put up.
yeah, it
What are
did.
you guys doing?
I know.
too sexy to kill. How could
Yeah.
this be? But it's this thing of like, and you cannot tell me
Yeah,
that
it
there's
did
not
look
going
like
to
a
be.
headshot.
And there'll be a true crime fucking podcast about all these murders, and all these people that were like, "Oh my god," weeping on the day, will sit there and eat it like slop.
Yeah.
Fucking, oh yeah, did you listen to the new fucking podcast about Eurydice Dixon? It was so
Yeah.
traumatizing. Well, are you traumatized, or are you just fucking like playing in your own shit and fetishizing this awful fate that you would not wish on your worst enemy? Like
Yeah.
the most awful possible way to die. And you've now turned it into, you know, your fucking, it's just one more thing in your podcast feed.
Somehow
it's so sick, man.
removed from it. I wonder if the
fucking hate
all
it.
the Ted Bundy and stuff is coming out now because it was so long ago that people can remove themselves emotionally from it ever happening and kind of fictionalize it, rationalize it by being
The
That
Titanic
it was a
effect.
different time.
yeah, right,
Mm.
yeah, and it's just like ages ago now. Like I don't know if something more recent would become as
It's just,
romanticized.
I think everything's accelerating so much now and everything's becoming so condensed and compacted that it, you know, you could kind of fetishize something from a few years ago and people would be okay with it.
True,
Like 9/11 wasn't 20 years ago and it's already,
that's true.
you know, kind of, you know.
I think just humans just have a fascination with fucked up stuff.
I get it.
And it's just getting bigger and bigger and more accessible.
Yeah, I think it's the difference between like Wolf Creek and Snowtown. Have you guys seen Snowtown?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fucked up.
Yeah, like, but that's how you should feel watching
Yeah,
that
right,
fucking.
yes.
I think
I
that,
regret watching that movie.
Me too.
I think it's one of the-
I felt yucky for quite a while.
I think it's one of the most
after that.
brilliant movies ever made. Like, I wouldn't. I
hate
wouldn't.
it. Aussie
but
movies, why do they have to always be so fucked up?
it's such. It
well,
is
actually, the
such
new one,
a
the
good
Top
movie.
End Wedding, is a nice one. But apart from
Yeah,
that,
true.
the rest of them are so
But
fucked up.
but look at Snowtown. Like, you know, when I saw that movie, I didn't know anything about those murders.
Neither.
I had no context for it, so I felt as confused as the
Right.
young boy that's in it. Like, I thought that John Bunting guy was really charming. I'm like, nah, he's not killing anyone. And then
Yeah.
when it's all revealed in the scene in the middle, and it was so harrowing and traumatizing, and I was fucked up for days after that. But if you're going to watch a recreation of something like that, that's how you should feel. Not like
Yes.
Wolf Creek, where you're like, oh, how sick was the part where he fucking
Yeah.
cut her spinal cord? She couldn't walk anymore. That was awful. No,
This
that's
is-
Ivan
I don't
Milat.
wanna- This is
Yeah.
like creeping me out.
What?
This conversation's bumming me out.
You listen to
Is
true
that all
crime podcasts all the time.
No, I've been listening to Conan.
That's nice. You do.
Conan
right?
and Tig. It
It's
was
so
really
Oh,
good.
really?
Yeah,
Oh, lovely.
it's a
I want to
lovely
hear that.
conversation.
All right,
I
no
did
more true
listen to
crime.
another one recently, which wasn't about a crime. That was a mother who left her family, which I find really interesting. I find anything that's like anthropological about like why people do really strange things.
Why did she leave her family?
Yeah, they don't know. It's amazing. It's really interesting. I think just because she was a bit of a nutter, but they go into like all these details of this woman who just totally disappeared. And they're debating whether or not she left her family. But anyway, it's an interesting podcast. But I love stuff like that more than like they fucking cut him open.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to. It's bumming me
More
the fuck out.
The
you know what I mean?
psychological side.
Yeah, the
aspect of
psychological
things.
side is really interesting. But yeah, the gory shit's not for me.
No, same.
I just like jump around, but also because it's bumming me the fuck out. So you moved to LA and you were like working there. Because how long were you there?
2 years.
I don't want to keep talking about death.
Yeah, okay.
Do you mind that we're not? Okay, fine. You guys talk about death.
I'm good.
No,
forget
it's
it.
fine. It's
Go.
fine.
Death.
I
Go.
finished
Oh, well, the
my-
Black Dahlia murders happened in LA, and they were some of the most famous murders that ever happened.
True.
Yeah. So we can
Let's
link it back in.
unpack those.
We're after a segue.
Call in.
You know the most
What's your
LA,
most
the most
fucked
L,
murder?
all right, the most LA thing I ever saw. This sums up LA in a nutshell. It was outside Man's Chinese Theatre. It was all the celebrity impersonators.
Yeah.
And there was like a woman dressed as Marilyn Monroe. And she was
Manson?
she was probably in her mid-40s. And it's no judgment call, but Marilyn Monroe died a decade and a half before
Oh, yeah.
And was one of the most beautiful
what
women.
you currently look like. And
Yeah.
you're a beautiful woman, but
Yep.
you are looking like a late middle-aged woman dressed like Marilyn Monroe. And it was one of the most devastating things I could ever see because no one's coming for a photo. Everyone's walking past. She's doing like the flapping thing with her skirt, like pretending that it's the steam blowing up, but no one's paying attention.
How do you do that?
Dude,
Day in,
Every
day
day.
out.
it gets so much worse.
Oh, God.
And so she's like she's doing her best and no one's buying a ticket. And then out of nowhere, another Marilyn Monroe shows up.
no.
But this time she's 20.
Oh,
And
no.
it was like a scene from a movie. Literally, as she arrives, a tour bus pulls up and everyone's got their faces against the glass. People are flocking to her. And older Marilyn kind of like just like hangdog skulks away. And it was like, that's fucking Los Angeles in a nutshell.
Oh, yeah,
That's
absolutely.
show
So
business, that's
representative
all
of
of it. You know,
This is
that's
too
it.
depressing. Let's talk about Snowtown
Oh,
again.
fuck.
That is depressing though, yeah. But that is so LA, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's just showbiz in general. Just
My
like,
major LA moment was going for lunch with my mum, and the waitress had so much surgery. Everyone working there was like so over surgeried, and the girl was just like, "And how are we? And what's happening?" And we were like, "Why are you talking about?" Like it was just, I wasn't used to
It's
it.
too much.
Yeah, it was a bit too much.
And then as soon as you show any kind of accent, there's
Yeah,
another
did you
line
get
of
tips and shit
questioning.
because you were Australian? Were they like, "Hey"?
No, a lot of them thought I was from the East Coast, like from Boston
Oh, really?
and stuff. Yeah, I guess because like we don't round our R's and stuff like they. Like
That's so
Bostonians
funny. They're
don't.
like,
Oh, yeah.
Boston gal.
Yeah.
Bostonian accent.
Also, I wasn't a very good waitress, so I didn't get a lot of tips. And also, I was working like right near Chinese, like Man's Chinese Theatre, like on Hollywood and Highland. So just mostly tourists. And
So
we
people
don't
from
tip.
everywhere anyway.
Yeah, and we don't tip. Like tourists don't tip and stuff. So I didn't actually get to rake in much dough.
Yeah.
I have issues with the tipping system.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, it's not reliable and
Well, I don't know.
Oh, it's gross.
I watched
don't like
a
it.
dude at a bar in LA and he got $1 for every beer he capped. And he must have capped 100 fucking beers just in the time I was staying there. I don't want to sound like an old cheap shit, but it's like, man, like, isn't this to supplement a shitty wage? And didn't they just pass a law where you don't have shitty wages anymore? Or at least you've got
I
a
think
livable
America
minimum
still has.
wage. New York State just passed one, like, I think it's $15.50 an hour, which I'm not saying is it's a shitty
Better.
wage.
I was on $8 an
Eight-
hour.
Fuck
Back in, this is only 2014 I left.
see, that's so crazy.
up, man.
Yeah.
What is that, $2 a quarter?
Yeah.
Blah. I was on $4.97 when I first worked at McDonald's.
Really? I was
Wasn't
trying
even-
to remember
it
what
wasn't
my
even-
first
That's gotta be
wage
a
It
Wow.
wasn't even.
Yeah,
It was
that's
it was
not-
1995.
Okay.
But like not even let's like you guys can't even do the $5. $4.97.
Yeah,
really.
oh
Like,
my
really, you
God,
can't just give me an extra
so
3 cents a
true.
fucking hour.
Difference.
You
It
pieces
all
of shit.
adds up.
Okay.
When you calculate 20,000 10-year-olds
true.
or however old you
Yeah.
were, I'm sure they made a few extra million by ripping you off.
Did you guys ever do that thing where you got like your first kind of gig that paid really well, and it was like a short amount of we've done gigs
Yeah, like
where it's
10
like 10
minutes
minutes
or
for
something.
$200
Yeah,
for
yeah.
10
Yeah.
minutes, and you start doing like the calculus as though you were a kid at McDonald's. Still, you're like, whoa, you're getting $20 a minute.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I can see people do that when I tell them how much I'll earn for a 10-minute spot tonight kind of thing. And they're like, $100, that's like, oh my God, you're earning blah, blah an hour. I'm like, yeah, but it's like once a month.
Yeah.
And it's get paid.
1 hour.
Yeah.
1 hour a day.
Yeah.
How do you feel your days when you're not like?
I've got a day job. I work admin.
I think that's so fucking
like
important.
at a hospital and a GP, like just
Yeah.
administration. Yeah, that's my.
You got to do something to keep
income.
yourself sane, man.
Oh yeah, I just wouldn't survive otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone I know that's like does just comedy.
Well, we were talking about this to
Little bit
Saran,
cracked.
but you need to have a good balance, though. I think you do need to. If you don't have to work to the extent where you feel like you're having a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
I might be
What are you talking
sharing
about?
for myself now.
Yeah.
But you, it's good to have some balance. I do think it's important to work because it puts shit in perspective.
I think so too.
But it's also good to have the time to dedicate to comedy. If you love it.
if you can find that
In a
balance.
fantasy land.
Yeah, but days are long, man.
Days are
I wake up
long.
at 8 o'clock in the morning. What is it now? It's fucking 8 o'clock. It's 8:30
8
at night.
o'clock is not an early start for people.
No, I'm saying I'm saying it's not, and it's already 8:30 now. I've been awake for 12 hours. That's a fucking long time.
You know what
time.
freaks
If I
me
wasn't
out?
working, what the
Yeah,
fuck
what
would
would
you
you do?
do?
I got a new phone, and when I set my alarm at night, this phone will tell you how long till the alarm will go off. And so it'll be like,
Yucky.
your alarm will go off in 8 hours and 40 minutes.
And
that-
sweating just thinking about
Yeah,
that.
last night I was like,
Oh, no.
like it bummed me the fuck out.
Because you never fall asleep as soon as you set your alarm.
No, it was awful. I was so angry. I was like,
That's the other thing these fucking satanic devices are doing.
you're referring to my Samsung?
Yeah, I am. It's a
fine.
satanic device. They are
an Android.
they're increasingly splintering time into smaller and smaller fragments, and I think that's fucking with everyone's heads too. You know what I mean?
That's true.
1,000 years ago, you moved to the rhythms of the sun. Oh, the sun's in the fucking top of the sky. It must be the middle of the day. I've got X amount of whatever things before I, have to go back inside because it's going to be dark. Whereas now it's like, I sent the message 4.5 seconds ago. I can
Yeah.
see that they've seen it. Why aren't they replying?
Or like a post, you got this many likes and you posted it 4 hours ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's like, oh, well, if I posted it 3 hours ago, would I have got more like? Would there have been more
Yeah.
foot traffic on Facebook?
Oh, yeah,
If it's
definitely.
just-
Well, they do
very
all of that stuff. There's heaps of
mathematical.
studies,
Yeah.
about all the foot traffic and when people are using them and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
for sure. Yuck.
Yeah. Why are we so sucked in?
Am I wrong?
In what?
In
I mean,
hating
yes,
it? No, I'm
like
not.
in
I'm not
heaps
though.
of
I'm
stuff,
right about
obviously.
everything. Am I wrong in like hating it as much as I do, or am I just being a fucking old shit that's like,
Bit of both.
get on board, mate?
Bit of column A and B.
I think you're right. I don't have, like, I'm too into it to get on
But do you like it?
board. Yeah, I really do.
There's nothing wrong with liking it.
No, I'm not criticizing someone for liking it. If you
I get
like
not
it,
liking
if you
it.
like it, good. I
totally
can't.
get
I
not
can't handle the
liking it.
people that are like, that hate it but still engage with it.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Because that's the stage
addiction.
I've got to. I just got to a stage where it's like I feel dead inside every time I engage with this.
No, I'm still having a good time.
Fuck yeah, they like me.
Yeah.
Mummy,
Yeah.
daddy, love me.
Thanks, everyone.
I don't quite have that, but
Yeah.
We are a fully rounded human being.
sure.
You got it together, man.
Look at me glow.
You're
Look at
drinking
me
tea.
go.
I'm jealous
I do have tea.
and envious. It's very, very impressive.
It's very elderly of me. I'm trying not to drink. Too unbalanced to drink. So you don't have to talk about it, but you were saying LA was sort of tainted because you had a bit of a shit relationship when you were there.
Yeah,
Were you with that person the whole time?
pretty much. We started dating like a month into living there.
Oh, whoa.
Wannabe
Yeah.
actor.
Did you move there with them? Or did you meet them?
met them over there.
An American?
Yes. And it was just, I don't know, I was just young, like I was 25. It's not that young. But for
It's
me,
young.
it was. I was a dumb 25-year-old. And I was just like, I didn't really have friends and I was isolated. And then,
Oh, yeah. And then you have a
which is
relationship.
huge. Yeah, very vulnerable. And it was just very, like, it was just not a healthy relationship, very controlling,
Ugh.
emotionally
What?
yucky.
Well, it is. It's
That's
like,
true.
fuck. You get so annoyed. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
fucking hell.
Again,
Punch him.
yeah.
Just want to hit him in the head.
Totally.
Well, you can't, but it's infuriating. There's so many controlling men out there. And women.
Oh, fuck off. This is
Yeah.
control. Yeah, that's true. But there are
Come on,
controlling
there are
humans
a-
in general.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Like, I know
There
a lot
are
of.
a lot of controlling men.
Yeah, there's also a lot of controlling women.
Yeah, but there are a lot of controlling
she says as she controls the conversation.
Yeah,
Stop
why
talking
do you
about the
think
thing I don't want to talk
I'm
about.
such a control freak?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, me too. I am now. I don't
Yeah,
think I
me
was
too.
before, else I wouldn't have been so just like
Vulnerable to a
vulnerable.
psycho.
But now,
But that shit creeps up on you. You don't even realize it's happening.
no, and
No,
I've like
no.
I'm like I get it. Like I'm one of those people who just like never thought I'd become involved in like what was technically like an emotionally abusive relationship. I just wanted it's just so cliche. Like I never thought I'd be.
Can
part
happen to anyone.
It really can.
Yeah.
Because it's not immediate.
Yeah.
No.
It's slow and it's methodical. Whether they're doing it subconsciously or consciously, it's so slow.
Yeah.
And
it doesn't happen
just-
overnight. It happens like months in and then years
Yeah.
in and then.
And just a little bit at a time. I don't think they're doing it, consciously. Like,
No,
okay,
no.
now I'll do this and I'll wait a week till I do another thing or anything. That's just in their nature.
Yeah.
And it ramps up the more involved and connected and
Yeah,
reliant
yeah.
you become on each other.
You must have been so happy to come home.
Yeah, well, I was.
Because did it end when you came home?
Yeah, I had another like 6 months on my visa, but I just came home because I was just always upset and stuff. And I just missed everyone. I was super
wow.
homesick. I just missed everyone.
But
That
that's this is going to sound fucked, but it's really good that you were in a different country because coming home, you would have come back to all of your support network and stuff.
Oh, it
Whereas if you're
was.
in Australia, it can be a lot harder to
I don't think it would have happened if I was here though.
because you had your network
Yeah,
around you.
I was and like when you're in that kind of situation, you only tell your friends you mask it all and you downplay everything. So my actual support network didn't really know what was going on.
Well, and the thing everyone forgets is often you love the person.
Oh yeah, I was
So in
deeply, I
all
was
those
madly in love.
situations, people love them.
Yeah.
That no matter what they do, like that's the hardest thing I think for people to understand from the outside is it's like, well, why did they stay? It's like, well, because above everything else,
Because I fucking love them.
they love them. They
Yeah.
love the person.
I had to forgive them. I didn't have a choice.
It wasn't. It's not a healthy love. It's
No,
not
no,
like
but
a
it's a
wholesome.
love.
But it's love, and it's like
And it's a powerful
it
love.
becomes like not obsession, but just absolute reliance,
Dependency.
Codependency.
Yeah, for sure. And
That's the thing with that creeping kind of grind that starts coming in because it's like for the first however X amount of weeks, months, there you're still in not performance mode, but definitely in best face forward mode.
Getting to know
definitely.
each other.
Yeah. So if someone is weirdly controlling or abusive, that's obviously not going to come out straight away.
They do that straight. Yeah, you used to say no thanks and see you later.
And that weirdly probably links back to a little bit of what we were talking about before, with the charming psychopath. Not saying that your ex is a psychopath, but people that are abusive and controlling,
manipulators.
can be very charming.
Definitely.
And it's maybe not even consciously happening. It's just kind of I've got to get what I want, and then once I've got that thing, I can let my guard down, and slowly the true person starts coming out.
I do feel like people like that, like from my own experience and others that I've seen, like friends who have been in bad, controlling relationships and stuff. The person is like, they're always on when they're around others.
They're very performative.
But a bit too much. And I feel like I can pick it now a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, feels you're a bit too on.
Yeah.
I wonder what it's like when you're not around people.
Yeah.
They like overcompensate to try and get
Totally.
everyone's trust.
Have you guys ever done that thing where you're in a shitty relationship and all you do is rail and bitch to your friends about how fucked your partner is, and then you break up with them and everyone's like, yeah, fuck yeah, you did it, and then you get back to them and have to explain to your friends that you're back with the person and they're actually different this time.
Oh, I've never done that, but
or you're the person on the receiving end where you're like, cool,
Yeah.
I just fucking railed against that.
I don't know if I've done that. I've never had like a legit relationship. I've had like moments where I've liked someone who's a total fuckwit.
Right.
And I've been like, they're such a prick and I hate them. And then I'm like, they message me.
I love it.
When I was younger and I probably went out with people I shouldn't have. But
Yeah.
I didn't have like whole relationships. I don't know. You know.
I did.
You'd be a better gauge than I would.
Have you done the thing where you've gotten back with the
Yes,
person
we
you
have.
just
Oh, dude,
made all
me
your
and
friends
my
hate?
ex must have broken up like 40 or 50 times.
Wow.
Like over the course of a few
Yeah.
years. Yeah, it was just like constant. It was just like,
God, that sounds just so draining.
well, it was. I was a fucking husk.
And addictive.
And
Yeah,
addictive,
it is.
because it is that like, smash everything down just to rebuild it back. And when it's rebuilt, we're more in love than ever.
Yeah, of course.
And the sex is amazing and the passion is there. And then, you know, whatever, a week later you've...
So what if I cried today? Like,
yeah, exactly. Well, I mean,
nice
the
to know.
humans have an incredible capacity to,
Yeah.
you know, cut and paste all the bad shit out and just remember
definitely.
the cool stuff.
yeah.
or the bad stuff, depending
Yeah,
on,
well, yeah.
on what
Yeah.
state of
Well,
mind.
depending
you're
on, I
in.
guess, depending on in the relationship sense, it's like you want what you want so badly. Like you want that person and you want how you feel with that person.
You want it to work and be legitimate.
Well,
yeah.
and you want it. That's what I found. Like I just was always hoping it would get better. Like if we get past this thing, it'll get better. But there's always just another thing.
No, of course.
Yeah, people always talk about getting back to how it started.
Yeah.
Because when they start, they're so charismatic.
Of course.
Well, also you're fucking high on pheromones and the
Yeah.
unknown and the mystery and all those things.
And people are putting their best show on. for
Totally.
you.
I once caught myself thinking, if only she was a completely different person, this would work.
What a
And that was
thought.
like and that was
It's so black and white. Well, like, let's go find a different
Yeah, yeah,
person.
yeah.
There's
But that
such
was
an
like a
easy
really
solution, but you don't. Yeah.
you know, if she
Yeah.
could just change these 8 or 9 aspects of her personality,
Right.
we would be a power couple.
Yeah.
You know, but it's just like
I remember being younger and living with a partner, and we were away from family and stuff, and wanting very much to, and I could never say it because there was no other option, but in my head so often just thinking, I just wish we could just not live together and be around each other for a bit. I
Yeah.
just wish we could not be together and not be around each other for a bit.
That's
and
a breakup.
not,
That's- yeah,
and
but you
not
don't break
piecing together that maybe that meant something else.
Yeah.
But we couldn't at the time because of finances and stuff, and because there was obviously a part of me that was like, no, but I want to hold
It'll
on
get
to
better,
it.
yeah.
But if you did say that to someone, that's essentially, like you said, breaking
That's
up.
a breakup.
You
Yeah.
know? But I would never have called it that. Like if I'd said that to someone and they were like, oh, you mean break up? I'd be like, no. I just mean not see them.
Yeah.
It's different.
yeah.
You know,
And
it's weird.
objectively, it's just not
It's, yeah.
at all.
I just mean don't see them or live with them, okay?
Yeah.
but they
I
still,
mean break up. Let's not get carried away.
but my brand is still burned into his butt cheek.
Yeah.
It's so weird, isn't it?
Well, I don't
is
know. Like, there's no rationality in all of this stuff. That's
No.
that's the most terrifying thing of all of it.
No
is that-
logic in love.
No, and that's what disturbs me so much about it. Like that you can become so temporarily insane that you.
I'm
know-
into it.
No, but you're in
Well,
a
are
functional,
you-
happy thing.
I haven't always been. I've had heaps of fucking
No, but
weird
right now you
relationships.
like it because you're in a fucking happy.
But I've liked it even when stuff's been fucking weird.
With
Other
previous
partners.
yeah.
I've liked it too, but there's always that feeling of like I don't like external threats.
See, I've always loved the
do
idea
you-
of love, which is weird because I grew up with a very dysfunctional home. But I've always loved
You wanted
the
what
idea.
you never had.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But I mean, you didn't have it growing up.
Get fucked! I had so much. I was
Oh
like,
no,
the
I had love from my family.
Yeah.
But I mean romantic.
Oh
love.
no, I didn't have
Right.
romantic love.
Yeah, that's
No,
what I mean. I'm like,
no.
I didn't have romantic love as
No.
like a 10-year-old. Like,
Yeah.
No. I was talking about platonic love from your parents.
Oh, my mom's like ridiculous, you know. She hugged me the other day when I went to coffee with her. She was like,
nice.
okay, all right, come here. And I was
Oh,
like,
that's cute.
she's a hugger now. Who would have thought?
It's lovely.
Yeah, it took a
What
while.
were you
Not
about to
a
say?
hugger.
What were you about to ask?
With your previous partners that have fucked up, do you ever regret it, or are you glad that it's happened because you've learned
That it ended.
that it happened at all?
Oh, I don't regret anything.
Yeah, same.
I love all of them.
I'm the same.
I'm so glad I had all those experiences.
Yeah.
You know, there's only one that ended really badly.
Hmm.
All the others, I'm friends with.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Are you friends with your exes?
Most of them, yeah, all of them
Are you?
except that one guy.
Yeah, the weird guy.
I love being friends with my exes. I think
it's
it's
nice.
if you can, if it's like I wouldn't be proud of if we were still friends.
Yeah.
But like everyone else, I think that's I don't know. I think it's a good mark of a
Yeah.
happy ending. And
See, but I always wonder when people say they're friends with them because it's like I'm friends with them in that I don't dislike them and I still wish them well, but I would never go for coffee with them. Or anything.
Oh no, I probably there's like my high school ex. We're all still in
Oh,
the same
that's-
group,
yeah,
and
yeah.
like I'm close friends with him and his partner.
Oh,
and
that's
the kid and
nice.
stuff. More recent exes, I've only had like 3. Yeah, like we're friendly.
Me and 2 of my exes are like deeply close.
That's
like
nice.
very, very close.
It's really nice.
And it's an interesting person to have in your life. Like one of my exes is, you know, we were together in 2003. And then another one, 2005 to like 2010, we were together.
Wow.
And it's interesting, like Olga, my ex that I was together with for 5 years, like, you know, we talk not all the time, but, you know, once a month.
You hang out.
Yeah, we hang out. And it's interesting to get insight from someone who knows you that fucking well from that long ago.
Yeah.
You know, that can actually speak to how different you are or call you on your
they know
bullshit.
Nice. That's
You know,
really
like I
nice.
was telling her all about, you know, dates that I've been on and, you know, my tendency to kind of self-destruct and burn things down and, you know, and I thought that this was some kind of new thing that I was doing. She's like, dude, what are you fucking talking about? You're always like that. You're always a flighty piece of shit. It pissed me off so much.
Right,
You know, but
wow.
like to get to a stage in your life where she could say that and there was no defensiveness or anything. It was like, oh, fuck, oh. It was like, I really value those two relationships.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I don't, like I had a really bad time in that relationship, but I don't regret a minute of it because of what I've learned since then.
Yeah,
I think it accelerated my growing up
Totally.
from it. And if it hadn't have happened, I think I would have just been a bit like way more coasting. And
Yeah.
stuff.
I think if
and I
you're
think I've like really like become heaps resilient for it.
A
and
big
stuff.
learning curve.
Yeah, and don't regret a minute of it. Like it sucked, but I don't. I'm glad it happened.
As long as you got out in one piece and
Yeah,
there was no
yeah.
awful, you know,
No.
terrible thing that happened. It's
yeah,
like,
there's definitely different degrees.
Yeah,
of
yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of thing for sure.
I think if you're a person who's kind of willing to put up with a bit of shit for whatever reason, lack of self-esteem, circumstances, whatever it is, I think anyone that's wired that way has to go through one that really fucks you around so you can build up that scar tissue to go, hey, you know what? This
isn't.
You know, like after that one, I would go on dates and, you know, it would be red flag within the first 10 minutes. I'm like, lovely to meet you.
Well,
but
yeah, you
I'm
can.
not
Now
fucking
you've got
doing this
that
again.
information to
Seem
know
like
what
a-
a red flag is.
Yeah.
But I do think that can happen to anyone, though.
What do you mean?
Dating somebody like that can happen to anyone at all.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but I'm saying I think if you're a person that has a propensity to pull up with bullshit, you have to go through that to learn what, you know, and
What
hopefully
your boundaries are.
yeah, and hopefully you get out of it, you know, relatively unscathed.
Yeah.
You never get out of these things completely scar-free.
Yeah, for sure.
But
It's always baggage, but
you know, it's
long
a
as
really
it's
lovely
manageable.
place to be in, to look back on something that was awful and go, you know what, I don't regret it, and I'm glad it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm glad for it.
yeah, definitely. I try and do that with a lot of things. It's like if something shit happens, just like, okay, what have I learnt? That's like my first thing. It sounds really hippie and
No, it's true.
No, it's
bullshitty,
really
but it's like
constructive.
first thing, like, hey, what have I learned? Like, but if or else it just spiral and just
dude.
become really self-depressive.
Yeah. But you have to. Like, it has to be that way.
Mm.
Like, I've had bad health issues, you know, but as long as you're not dead or,
Yeah.
you know, seriously.
Jesus. Yeah, I know.
Like, unless you're,
As long as you're alive, I mean.
no, like, unless you're, if it didn't kill you or it didn't fucking, you know,
What doesn't
leave you
kill
with
you
some
makes you
awful
stronger.
terminal illness, like, fine. Like, it's good.
Yeah. Or like making mistakes.
Yeah.
Like it's really easy to beat yourself up
Oh,
for
yeah.
forever about mistakes, but I really try and like as soon as it happens, like, oh, that sucks. But like, okay, I won't do that again. That's what this means.
Yeah, man. We solved it.
I know. I feel like we fixed it all.
I think so. Thanks for having me.
Done.
Do you have anything to promote? Where can people find you on the
Yes,
internet?
your podcast.
Oh yeah, I've got a podcast. It's called The Ladies Guide to Dude Cinema, and it's me and a fellow comedian and best friend Beck Charwood,
Yeah.
and we just realized one night that we're not huge movie buffs. We like movies, but you know, we haven't watched every movie. And then we just realized, like, growing up and, like, through our 20s and stuff, we've just constantly, like, had dudes around who have always just been like, oh, my God, you haven't seen Scarface? You haven't seen fucking Godfather? And, like we always felt a real deep shame for not seeing it rather than just being like, no, I haven't seen it. Like, who cares? I've seen
What
other
does it
movies.
matter?
Yeah. Why do you care so much? So what we're doing is watching a movie each week that dudes have aggressively recommended to
That's
us.
a fucking great concept.
Yeah.
And we're watching them mostly for the first time. So, but they're 40-year-old movies and they're cult classics
Yeah,
and stuff.
great.
But we just realized we haven't seen most of the movies that are considered like the 100 movies you have to see
canon.
before you die kind of thing.
Are you enjoying the movies?
Not all of them, no. Some of them.
Which ones did you hate?
Hated Clockwork Orange,
Oh, really?
High Fidelity.
I've never seen that.
Which ones did you love?
Really loved Terminator.
Yeah,
So good.
Terminator
Yeah,
six.
What about
surprised
Terminator 2?
at that. Love Terminator,
Terminator
2.
2 is so
We did
fucking
both of those. What else have I loved? A few of them, like surprisingly loved them.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
That's a fucking
so it's
cool
fun.
idea.
And I've always it's always been on my list of like to-do list for life to like watch the movies that everyone jerks off over.
Yeah.
But now we just like have
Can I make a
reason.
suggestion?
Yes.
Watch a movie called All That Jazz.
What's that?
Do you know
Is that a dude cinema thing?
Well, we've kind of
I mean, it's by Bob Fosse. He's a pretty fucking.
But that's what I mean. That's not dude cinema.
we've kind of decided
Bob
like
Fosse's kind of like camp and
We're kind of like dude cinema to us isn't as in like movies that dudes love.
Like meat-
It's just
meathead.
any movies that dudes have been like, I can't believe you haven't seen it.
Well, there you go.
So
Dude,
there's a-
all
I
that
would-
jazz. If you talk to Alexi Toliopoulos, he's part of your podcast,
He's our
isn't he?
producer.
Well, he will back me up.
and
It
it's
is
perfect
the greatest.
having him because he has seen every
Yeah,
movie
yeah, yeah,
ever.
yeah, yeah. All that jazz. It's about it's kind of like a hypothetical retelling of Fosse's life, directed by Fosse, and it is fucking brilliant. It's so good.
How old is it?
Late 70s.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of late 70s, one I hated was Blade Runner.
Yeah,
We hated it, and we got a lot of feedback on that. A lot of people.
I bet.
Yeah, of course. The Blade Runner nerds are the worst.
Blade
People
Runner
love Blade
nerds.
Runner.
Yeah.
That was a
You
real
just didn't
eye
fucking
opener.
understand it, you
Yes.
stupid bitch.
That's literally like this one was like, you stupid fucking like women, you don't like blah, blah, blah. And we love it
dare
though.
you.
It's so much fun getting that feedback. 'Cause we're like, you're doing the exact thing that we're making fun of. How do you not see that?
Yeah. Oh, that's fucking great.
Yeah.
So listen
have
to-
a listen. The Ladies' Guide to Dude Cinema.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Alex Jae.
Thank you,
Thank you for
Alex.
having me. Bye.